requirement every single time we appear on camera. Oh, I did train biceps yesterday and they are actually really sore to do that. I hope you appreciate the sacrifice I am making here for you, ladies and gentlemen, to meet the demands of the contract. It was very fine print, not something that I've made up to show my arms off of 24 years in the gym at all. The man to my left, but to your right, depending on what sort of screen you are looking at, it is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-breather of air, the co-wearer of clothes in this very room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo. It is the Siberian bull. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is your friend and mine. It is none other than Dave Stockbridge. Stockbridge, welcome to Arm Wrestling Tonight.
Well, thank you very much for that very warm welcome to Arm Wrestling Tonight, Hollywood. Matt Connelly. It's always a joy to be on the podcast with you. This is your 5-night-a-week, half-an-hour dose of all things arm wrestling, bringing you five night a week, and bringing you some of the best up-and-coming talent from around the country and around the world. And joining us today is one such man. He has been one of those rising talents here in Australia for some time now. He's been making his mark wherever he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Jacob Tuxworth.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great, Jacob. Really, really well. And it's been fantastic watching your career just over the last several years. You know, you've taken one step ahead of the other, seemingly on this linear path of improvement, putting yourself in good positions, getting yourself some great matchups. I tell you what, has it been part of such a concerted plan, or has this just happened really organically for you?
Try to structure my training as best as I can. So I've been just really pushing it basically the whole time I've been in arm wrestling, just trying to get as high as I can, really.
And with your training, like we're familiar with how Ryan Bowen for years just worked arm wrestling specific movements, and then a few years ago discovered compound movements, and that changed his game. Have you been on a similar path? Or have you always had like a similar regime, and you've just gotten stronger over time applying the same methodology?
Yeah, everything's been pretty similar for the past 4 years. Of course, the training program changes every few months, kind of add some stuff in and whatnot based on what you're learning and stuff. But doing full body stuff in the gym and then also arm wrestling specifics.
Okay, so when you're in the gym, are you doing arm wrestling specific movements in the gym, like you see some people with the grips and the pulleys and that type of thing? Or is it strictly gym style movements, compound movements, traditional kind of bodybuilding style movements, and then you're saving yourself to do the rest on the table?
Yeah, so I do full compound movements 2 days a week in the gym, and then 2 days I'll do arm wrestling specific gym work as well.
Okay, it's a pretty sound regime. And you were mentioning not much has changed in terms of that routine. And I'm going to ask you in a few moments' time to maybe just step us through a week in your training schedule, because I know a lot of people are really curious, and there's a lot of athletes out there that are looking to change up their routines, and it's always good to be able to glean from the best what to do in terms of how to improve and fine tune your workouts. But Jacob, before we get there, you are one of the stars at the AWE Grand Prix 3 that's coming up here in Adelaide. It's going to be at the Grand Chancellor on the 23rd of March. You're part of that lineup. Just as you come into that competition, does much change? Do you stop doing weights, say 6 or 8 weeks before, and just do table time, and do you pull back on certain movements, or what changes for you in the preparation of that final month leading into a tournament?
Yeah, I generally peak up until a week out with my weights, so I'll get heavier and heavier. And usually I'll set PRs within the last 1 to 2 weeks of that big training block, and then I'll rest for a week, do a peak week, a few light sessions, speed sessions and whatnot, and yeah.
Okay, well, now I would like you to step us through a typical training week for Jacob Tuxworth. So obviously Monday's chest day, we'll take that for granted.
Yeah, so I do a bit of I'll do upper body gym, general compound movements, pull downs, bench press, shoulders, all of that on the Monday. I'll do that on the Friday as well.
Mhm.
Different movements.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
And
So that's interesting. So you're doing those main body parts twice a week.
yeah, yeah. So I like to hit the chest, the back,
Right.
the shoulders twice a week. And I also I like to hit my arm wrestling movements twice a week as well. So I do those on the Tuesday and the Saturdays, and those will be very strength based.
Are you ever training sore then? Like, are you getting from your chest workout on Monday, or getting to your chest workout on Friday, say, and still sore from the Monday, or is that something that still happens? Or are you attuned to this twice a week regime?
No, I'll be pretty fresh by Friday from the Monday session, and same from
Oh,
the Friday to the Monday session as well. Um, yeah, body is pretty good
that's
now, but
huge.
yeah, I'm definitely still sore on the arm wrestling days a little bit from it, but I've
Yeah.
structured it well enough so that it doesn't really impact the strength levels.
Have you kept away from the arm wrestling table ever long enough to see how you would how your regime changes without all of that tendon soreness and table wear and tear?
I've taken a few weeks off max, and just stuck with the gym work, and I noticed that it
Yeah.
definitely is a big benefit, but I just can't stay away from the arm wrestling table. It's too fun.
Even though it's making you weaker, you cannot stay away from it.
Yeah,
That's how you know you're an arm wrestler. You're willing to take the sacrifice in size and strength just to get back on the table. The adrenaline is just too much.
yeah. It helps with technique a lot too, but yeah, strength wise, there's a bit of a trade off there.
Yeah. So Mondays, upper body. Do you ever train legs?
I'll throw it in every now and then.
Oh, I like the hesitation look there. The
That's a
guilty look.
no. That's a
Oh, do
no.
I say the truth or not?
Well, I don't think you're alone, because we've all seen Josh Barker's legs. So I don't think you're alone in the world of arm wrestling, not training legs. I don't even think it's wise, as a matter of fact. And what are you weighing in at the moment? What are you walking around at? Because the Grand Prix is an 85 kilo and under tournament. How are you going with respect to that? What are you walking around at the moment?
I weighed 87, high 87s this morning, so very close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very close, yeah. And for you, will you kind of maintain that weight right up till the week, or do you start to taper off and make sure of it? How does that weight cut? Because there's a few kilos there, and of course, at 85 kilos, a few kilos can make a big difference. So, what's your plan with that? Will you start tapering off now, or do you leave that until maybe last week and just get it off with water?
So it's been a couple weeks. I was 90 kilos, so I'm slowly cutting down to it.
Oh,
I hope to get
yeah.
very soon and have the last week or two prep, just stay at maintenance, keep glycogen high and all the calories and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you're floating around, like, unless you're a mass monster or just somebody who's got like a particularly thick physique, it's very hard to if you're a normal person, it's very hard to have a good fit, because 85 kilos can be a little bit too light and not a natural weight to be walking around at. But being a 100 or 110 kilos to compete against super heavyweights, which a lot of lighter, strong guys have to do. They invariably end up competing against super heavyweights just so that they've got competition on the table. So it's a bit of an awkward weight. So you're normally in the 90s and you're coming back to the 85 kilo mark, yeah?
Yeah, historically I've stayed between the 90-95 kilo mark. Usually just cutting down to 90 for nationals and then bulking back up to 95 for the other tournaments around Australia.
Fantastic. And how old are you now?
25.
And for those people that are tuning in internationally who might not be familiar with the Australian scene, can you just share with us some of your accomplishments and milestones today?
I got my first national title last year on the left arm, 90 kilos. So I'm pretty happy with that. last year I also got second at the East vs West qualifier, so I went into Istanbul, and I had a pretty tough draw, but I feel like I didn't do too bad. And, as you saw on the screen there as well, I got a pin on Pepe. I would like to get him back for those pins he got on me afterwards. And another name as well on that left arm.
And tell us about that experience of going to Istanbul. I mean, it's a whole different world, but it's I guess having that opportunity to be able to travel as part of your sport is one of the great things in arm wrestling at the moment. Our hope is that one day our athletes can be full-time professionals, and this is all they do. We would love to see the money come into the sport so that can happen, and it's a big reason for AWE existing. But in the meantime, when I'm talking to athletes, it seems like arm wrestling is just a great opportunity to travel and to see the world and arm wrestle once you're there. But it really is proven to be a really good opportunity for younger people like yourself to be able to see the world.
Yeah, that's right. There are tournaments everywhere, so it is exciting to test yourself against the top guys from all around the world.
And Greg Yo's saying that he has seen you compete overseas. Is it true you've been competing in the Philippines?
I did. So my girlfriend's Filipino, so we went to the Philippines for a couple of weeks at the start of last year, and I just happened to find some sort of event they were doing.
Just happened. Yeah, it just happened to. Yeah, just coincidental.
I was looking around on Facebook and found an event they announced like a couple days beforehand. So I went to that, and I went through like 6 super matches. They just threw me in there, and
and here we got you on left against Ryan Bowen as well. So, I mean, it's pretty fair to say that you've been competing at that top level, right at the top echelon. And here we go. You got the stop on Ryan there.
Oh.
And there we go. And a lot of people would say that Ryan is actually stronger on left than right.
Yeah, a lot of people.
A lot of
most
people
would say that.
Most people would say that to upset Ryan, but there's a lot of those people. But he's getting the pin again. Wow. There we go. How did this match come about? This looks like a bit of casual fun, really, but you definitely both of you are taking it seriously. You got all the setups correct.
Yeah, this was a couple of weeks before Nationals last year. Ryan messaged me, said he wanted to do a little super match because we were basically exactly the same weight. So he just wanted to have a bit of a left arm super, and yeah, that's we organized that, and it's a lot of fun.
We see the results. Yeah. I don't know if that was a pin, but your mate with the moustache there, he was happy to call it. So that's all that really matters. Ryan's walked away from that one a little bit disappointed.
Actually called the pin, but yeah. It was the moustache that called the pin.
Moustache called the pin. Yes, well, that makes it all the more official, doesn't it? You can't argue with the moustache. So, so Jacob, obviously AWE Grand Prix 3 coming up. You've seen the list of competitors. Hamza's out now, so it leaves 6 names that we are familiar with. You being one of them. I guess we had Jake Ward on the podcast last night going through his seedings, and so what are your thoughts on that? And where do you feel yourself fitting in the mix? Because Matt works out the seedings, so if you want an easier run, just now's the time to say.
I haven't pulled a lot of the guys. I pulled Taron last year at the T Series when he pulled.
Yeah,
and he was too strong at the time. Very, very, very strong. I haven't pulled the guy Tanapat or Zoo either, but they are strong. I really don't know where to rate them.
And Matt has made an official announcement right here on the screen. So maybe Matt would like to go into more details, because Matt is our matchmaker for this event. So Matt, maybe you want to make the big announcement.
We've got Ruben Jennings has stepped up. He's a fantastic arm wrestler from, I believe he's from the Gympie Grippers in Queensland, and he's a tall guy, huge hand, massive hand, and a very, very powerful top roll. He's been doing big things in that area of the country, and as recently, what was it, last year, not the year before, that he did very well in the national tournament. But he's sitting at the 86 kilo mark. He's ready to go, and he has said yes to stepping up and joining the tournament.
What do you know about Ruben, Jacob?
Quite a bit. We always bump into each other at tournaments. Always goes back and forth. He's got a very, very long arm, and his hand is way bigger than mine, so it is a little bit stylistic. It's a bit tough to get around.
His hand is huge. I don't know if I've actually felt somebody's hand when I shook their hand and been like, oh, my hand disappeared into theirs.
It's not a hand, it's a baseball.
It was like gripping up with a bunch of bananas.
but you have gripped up. Obviously, you've come across Josh. Recently, have you gripped up with Josh?
I've actually never gripped Josh Barker yet.
Wow.
Really? Okay. I think you'll beat him. So I know Josh will be watching. So, but yeah. No, so Josh is a bit of an unknown quantity. Guy is also Zhizhu, Zhuji as well. Ruben, you've had that experience with. There's a bit of back and forth. And SK, surely SK, you've had the opportunity to jump on the table with.
Yep, yeah, I've pulled him a couple of times last year, and I did manage to get the win.
Okay. So really, this is the exciting thing about the AWE Grand Prix format, because naturally an athlete's skill and ability comes to the fore, but also, their technical prowess in terms of Josh Barker, very quick off the line. We've got Ruben's Jenny, really long levers. We've got Guy, who no one's going to know how to attack Guy and Zhizhu, because, how do you, apart from, maybe analyzing some YouTube videos and trying to get a sense as to what their style is, it's not until you really grip up with these guys that you really know. And of course, you're not going to have that chance until you're in that moment with them. So it does raise some questions. And of course, seeding is so important, as we saw at Grand Prix 2, where you've got Charles Puri and Marcus Atirai just going to war in the first round, almost in an effort to make it easy for everybody else, as it turns out. So these are the things that happen in a Grand Prix setting. You can find yourself in a war early, and that could disadvantage you as you move through the draw, or you can maybe get a flash pin and move forward through a couple of opponents before you really meet some serious resistance. And so these are the X factors that the Grand Prix tournament throws up to.
Yeah, that's right. Anything can happen in a tournament.
And I can't wait to see what does happen, Jacob, because you are a rising star. We love seeing you on the table. You've been a big part of that AWE journey so far, and it's always wonderful to see those that have been with us for so long doing really, really well on the table and getting that international recognition. As we know, there'll be all the big names of the sport will be tuning in and be watching what's going on the table at Grand Prix 3, and it's a fantastic platform for athletes like yourself who are getting their name out there and are doing all the right things in the gym, doing the right things on the table, doing the right thing on social, and then get that opportunity to show the world what you've got on a big stage. So we're super excited to see how it all goes. Hollywood Matt Connelly, perhaps we can turn to the comments and see what the AWE fans have to say.
The Drew has jumped in first. He's won the game again. He's always the first man off the line, and he says that his sleep schedule has been messed up. Well, you can't blame us.
I hope that's got nothing to do with us.
It's nothing to do with us. We didn't force you to stay up and watch every one of our podcasts. Well,
Or
maybe
did
we
we?
did. Greg Yo from Eastside Arm Wrestling says that Jacob is one of the more underrated guys in Australia, and that he saw his pulls in the Philippines a while back, and he did mega. So yes, good feedback there from Greg Yo, and we've got Mr. Peen.
What do you think you are underrated, Jacob?
What's that, sorry?
What do you think Greg might think that you are underrated? Because we're familiar with you. We think a lot of you, but what do you think it might be that people might consider you kind of under the radar a little bit in the scene at the moment?
Yeah, I think my left outshines my right a little bit, so I'm really
Yeah,
my right, and I'd really
yeah,
like to get some big wins on it.
yeah.
And I haven't pulled too much
It's
in
all,
the Southeast Asia region either, except for the Philippines. So
yeah,
that might be it.
yeah. It is and this is a similar quandary for Brett Coots, who is a monster on left and would love the rest of the world to compete on left, but because all the attention and all the big promotions prioritize right, those guys that happen to have that ability and that strength on left, I happen to be one of those as well. No, not really. But that talent is somehow a little ignored, and I think it's all the more exacerbated at the lower weight categories because once you kind of get away from the super heavyweights, there's less commercial attention around the athletes. And so if you happen to be 85 kilo puller and under and mega on left, you just don't get the cred that you deserve.
Yeah, that's right.
And sorry, Matt, I did interrupt you there as you were going through
Oh, that's
the
okay.
comments.
No, that's all right. We'll yeah. So Mr. Peanut is in. We'll say hello to one of our favorites, our regulars. Mr. Peanut is here. Drew says that I'm so nice for letting everyone pin him. Pin me. I've shown them.
That's very kind.
It's a charitable donation, but I don't actually have a choice about it. Yeah, Jacob pinning me several times in the super match that we had there, and the Drew says that he might just let me pin him to show him my appreciation. So he also says, just imagine if Matt actually did train for arm wrestling and not just for OnlyFans. Half price
Wow.
this month, ladies and gentlemen. If you quick first 20 people to sign up. No, we've got Lucky Wood is in as well. I did see her in here somewhere, but is this one of the teammates from Silva T? Says, let's go, Jacob. Do you know who that is, Jacob?
Say it again.
The guy who was the comment. It's a Siva T. Siva T. It's Sivart, and he's got a underscore at the end, which you can't really pronounce. It's a silent underscore. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Let's go, Jacob.
He is a Jacob Tuxworth fan. Yes, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
Aaron Costello was asking about Rhett Downward, who we did approach, but he has not been training at this point in time, unfortunately. What's his Mr. Peanuts?
And doesn't
he
like
also
us.
hates
That's
everybody to do with arm wrestling. No.
Yeah, we mentioned Taryn was involved, and he was like, nah.
Okay. The Drew says he wasn't going to blame us for our sleep schedule, but you gave me the idea, so yes, it's all your fault. Yes. Jordan Reacher, I don't know. I don't know if he could get down to 85. Yeah, he's quite a big, tall fellow. And Champs for Africa says, hello from South Africa. Champs for Africa Arm Wrestling Club, trained by none other than Terence Opperman.
Had some interesting messages from Terence the other day, just sharing with us a little bit where he sees Rickett is right now, and so very, very interesting thoughts there. And of course, Terence has had that reputation for many years as being the top guy from South Africa, and Rickett's just recently returned, having shared the table with Terence and the club over there. So all we can say is South Africa is a sleeping giant in the sport of arm wrestling. There are some mega Afrikaans boys that are just the world is going to be shocked to see the talent coming out of that part of the world. So we can't
Aaron
wait.
Costello has helped me out here with the username. The guy that says "Let's go, Jacob." It's Travis backwards. Is there a Travis that you know? That's a no.
Very good work. Good work on that, Aaron.
I feel
Good
like
work.
that John Edwards, the guy who's like, I'm getting a D sound. Does anyone have a relative that passed away recently starts with a D? We're not familiar with any Travises that might be big Jacob Tuxworth fans, Jacob. No,
no. It's going to be scrolling through the face. Scrolling
okay.
through Facebook.
Is your name Travis?
Is
your name Travis?
Terence rematch. Ooh, very good. Ooh. Yeah, it would be very cool. Would be very interesting, wouldn't it? I actually don't like that idea. I think it'd be really interesting to watch, but I really like the idea of South African arm wrestling just growing, and I think it's great when you got a few big names coming out of a particular country or region, and Terence has been the guy for so long and has earned the right to be on the big stages around the world. And then you've got Rickett who's emerging, and you kind of feel like, let's say Rickett beat Terence, and that lessen his stock and ability to be able to compete. I think South Africa needs both of these guys to stay separate for a while, let both of them enjoy the opportunities that the world of arm wrestling has to offer, and take over the world, and maybe come back to unify a belt or something at some point. That's in an ideal world, that's what we'd like to see, but of course, if they just want to ruin that and do a super match in South Africa in a couple of weeks' time, of course they can go and do that, but we'd love to watch it anyway. But I think for South African arm wrestling, it'd be great for them to have several big names that are on the biggest stage in the world. And I think it'd be really inspirational for those younger arm wrestlers that are making their way up to see names from their own country, their own culture, doing great things around the world.
Team South Africa, as opposed to
South Africa, Team South Africa. We are with you. We love you. You are fantastic.
You're off the team, though.
We love seeing your work. I want to be on the team. If I could be anything else other than Australian, it would be South African. I think that's specifically an Afrikaan South African as well. I love the sound of the voice. It's beautiful. Jacob, any other nationalities you'd like to be?
As many as possible.
Before you answer that, how did you go in the Philippines? Did you beat everyone?
I did, up until So I got put into about 4 or 5 super matches, and then arms were pretty pumped, so we started to leave, and then the number one guy in Philippines showed up, so Mark Lewis Ben.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pull him. So that wasn't too good. He kind of destroyed me.
How do you think you would have gone if you hadn't pulled the super matches prior to that, though?
I'm not sure. It's very hard to tell when you're pumped halfway through a session. He did hold on our second left arm match in the strap, and then I kind of stopped him from pinning me for a little bit, but gassed out towards the end. So there might be something there.
Ooh, I feel a future match, King of the Philippines matchup. So maybe into the future there.
Yes.
I get that sense.
It is one of those things when you go to another country or another city, and it's like everyone wants to get on the table with you, and you're like, yeah, cool. And then after 20 minutes, you've got nothing left, and you've got a lineup of people that all expect you to be as strong as you could possibly be, and they're just pinning you over and over. And it's like, this guy's really weak and terrible. It's like, I have been going for 40 minutes straight. Like,
and the dilemma for you, Matt, is when you have travelled overseas, you've been announced as an Australian arm wrestling champion, and so there's some big expectations that come along with such a title.
Yeah, rightfully named as the champion. Big billboard on the wall in
It
was like, I haven't won any tournament matches at all. Oh, look out. Josh Barker is throwing some shade towards Jacob Tuxworth here. He says, are you nervous to verse my monster right, Jacob?
I can't wait.
Oh, it's not nerves; it's anticipation. That's what it is. So this is going to be something for us all to look forward to. So I want to thank everybody. You've got another fan there. Nix is in the comments. Yes, Jacob. So a lot of Jacob Tuxworth fans out there. We hope all the Jacob Tuxworth fans are tuning into AWE Grand Prix 3. It's the 23rd of March. It's here in Adelaide. So if you want to fly over, you're more than welcome. There'll be the SA Titans tournament on as well, which you don't have to be South Australian to compete. You can just make your way over and jump on the tables and be part of that very special event, which will be held in the same location. And of course, there'll be the Grand Prix event, the 85 kilo 8-man double elimination, and that will be followed by a big left-hand super match between Brett Coots and Rickert Borman, the AWE heavyweight champion, to decide who is the number one on left in the AWE. So, and who knows, it could be Jacob Tuxworth. We don't know. We don't know yet. So he'll still be fresh on left. And, if Rickert drops out or if Brett's injured, I think we've got Jacob ready to go. So, and there are some rumors, Jacob, if you don't have to step in against the big boys, then there might just be a little lefty fun little super match with one of our international guests. So we're going to leave that as a little tantalizing offering for arm wrestling fans, and we'll revisit that as we get closer to the day. But lots to look forward to on the 23rd of March. So Jacob, any final thoughts before we go away?
I'll be training super hard up until, and I can't wait.
Absolutely fantastic. Hollywood,
that's
Connelly.
Gonna be great. Can't wait. 23rd of March here in Adelaide. We've got 7 people announced. We have the 8th person, secret person, that will be announced as well. But fighting their way towards the AWE belt, $1,000 prize money for the winner of the tournament as well. And it may just be the man on your screen right now. So we will find out. But great to. It's not you, and it's not me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which leaves one other person. So there we go. All right. So we'll thank everybody for tuning into the show tonight, and we always appreciate your comments and support. And we will be back Monday night for another show for arm wrestling.